Hi, I'm Barry Conrad, and this is Banter with BC. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, bro. And today I'm here with my guest, Kyle Shilling. How you doing, bro?
I'm a lot better now that I've got food and a drink.
You want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so I am Kyle Shilling. I am one of the main actors in Home and Away, Marley. And fortunately, I get the opportunity to speak with Barry today. So
Unfortunately.
And
to kick things off, we like to start with a segment called Two Truths and a Lie. Do you know how this works?
I guess so, yeah.
You're up.
That's a lie. Okay, growing up, I learnt ballet.
Okay.
Myself and my twin brother broke the same arm on the same day growing up. And I'd actually had the chance to randomly meet Will Ferrell at the airport in Sydney one time. Like hell random.
I'm going to say the lie is the injury with your twin.
No, that's the truth.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. When we were younger, we were probably about 10 years old. And we were at primary school and everyone was playing soccer. And my brother was playing soccer as well.
Yeah.
And this guy booted the ball and for some reason, he wasn't even goalie. And he threw his hand up and like the ball fractured his wrist inwards. And I had to take him to sick bay and then he got taken to the hospital and he got his arm plastered.
Yeah.
When I dropped him at sick bay, I then went and kept playing and I went up to the play equipment and all these kids were running around playing tips or tag or tiggy.
Yeah.
And I ran up the top of the play equipment and I looked at this girl and I was like, oh, who's in? And she goes, I don't know. She lied to me. She knew who was in and she was in. Tipped me so hard that she pushed me off the top of the equipment and I landed and fractured my wrist. Funny thing is though, my dad works at the hospital. He was working in the cafe and when he was told that Jesse, my twin, had broken his arm, he went and picked him up and took him to have his arm plastered. And then as soon as he was done, he got another call to come pick me up. And so when he went in, he got that plaster for free because he was friends with the doctors and whatnot. And he took me in and the guy goes, I'm sorry, Daniel, but we're going to have to charge you for this. And he's like, oh, why? And he's like, well, we just plastered his arm. And he goes, oh no, this is the other one. This is his twin brother. So yeah, we got free plasters, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And also annoying that I got that wrong. Is this the third in a row now? You could have said the second. I don't have any tattoos.
Okay.
When I was 7 years old, I developed astrophobia, which is an intense phobia of thunderstorms and lightning. And most of my extended family live in Cape Town.
So there's no tattoos. You have astrophobia.
Astrophobia.
Most of your extended family live in Cape Town. I'm going to say the lie is you have astrophobia.
Insert annoying emojis.
I've been with you in a storm.
You're correct.
I haven't been with you in a
So
storm.
why am I shaking your hand? I don't have astrophobia, and I tried to come. This is the thing. Like after a certain amount of episodes, I'm trying to think of two truths and a lie. Like what would be believably true?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, you're right. I'm wrong. Anyway, let's eat.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go. So what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Foods that I've eaten before. I mean, we had a little chat before, but like being up in the...
Hello.
Hey Frank, how you doing? It's Patrick. What's going on?
So here's my left. I stink in it.
Oh, right.
Basically, there's some.
Do you want to walk the camera?
Oh, mate. Sorry.
So warm. Don't be sorry for bringing this
Thank you
shit.
so much. As you were saying, what were you saying?
I'm lost now. Look at that.
Look at that.
So, yeah, so I think spontaneous would be a food that I've eaten before and kind of just standing there and just being like, you know what, I'm just going to do it because it's put in front of me right now. It wasn't planned. Drinking the blood of a green sea turtle after it's been cooked.
What do you mean?
Up in one of the Aboriginal communities that I've been to up above Darwin on Elko Island, it's a thing that within our culture that you use the animal that you've killed whilst hunting to all its potential. So everything has a use, because they don't like to just waste away a life with no afterlife meaning. So so they go through and cook this whole turtle with its shell upside down and like stuffed with all these beautiful native bush herbs and spices. And then they drink the blood of it because it's like it's an electrolyte. So like,
And how do they put it in a glove? Like,
so the funny thing was, they had an old Powerade bottle that they cut in half, and they scoop it out at the end and just pass it around, and everyone would just sit there and have a sip.
what did it taste like?
You know, like beef noodles, like you get the watery bit at the end.
It tastes like that.
Yeah, very very similar to that.
But obviously warm-ish, but not.
Yeah, and from a turtle.
That's a first. Easy.
No, it's cooked, so it's flipped upside down, and the blood boils and steams the food, steams the meat, and then obviously the blood stays, and you just.
So soundbite, Kyle Shilling drank turtle blood. There we go. What's the biggest stereotype surrounding what you do, like your work?
People hear like, oh, you know, one, I'm an actor, but two, like I'm in Home and Away, and like, obviously it being such a popular TV show, not just in Australia but the UK and stuff, people get this false sense that I live this lavish lifestyle when it's actually quite the opposite. Like, I know there's some people that work in cafes and stuff that probably make more money than me.
Yeah.
So the expectation of the way I live and stuff is like always so wrong. Like, I'm living in an actual cave at the moment because it costs me $300 a week.
Yeah. I respect that. It's good to take it. I mean,
like you got to jump at these opportunities when they arise, especially like coming from, you know, being single, and I was paying $550. I can feel that. I thought you were gonna eat it.
That's a different show.
Here's OF, Only Foods
After show.
What do you do? How'd you do that?
It's after show.
You eat the shell. See, I've eaten weird shit, but I don't know if I want to eat the shell of a prawn.
Just try it.
Oh, wrong. That's really nice. Oh,
It's good, right?
it is really good.
I'm so glad that you're excited about the food, because my guests are excited about food, but you're really verbal about it, which is good. I like that, because I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
What you didn't see before we started filming was like, I'm doing a show at the moment called In the Heights, so I'm just like randomly, I'm just like coming up with all these songs. It's like, I gotta get the lights out. Lights! Just like, you know, just like singing about everything.
Damn, did it just get hot in here?
And how does that, do you feel like that is something that comes through like a lot of interactions in your life? Like you might meet people on the street, or whether you're like a social gathering and they just expect, so you must have this or do this in your spare time, or play golf, or go to country clubs, or fly to Greece. I gotta get out here. I've got a tennis appointment in like 30 minutes. So no, like genuinely, they have that weird expectation that that's how it is. Like, I feel like you're not really at that point in your life until like, you know, in the acting career, until you've been to like, you're consistently working in like Hollywood or something. Like, so they just see us doing something that to them they'd never be able to do, and seems so far-fetched and crazy that we'd be making money and living this way, but that's not it. From the man himself. So you performed and taught dance at various schools, including remote areas like Yirrkala and Alice Springs. How have those experiences influenced you as both an artist and a man?
Actually, really good question. It's seeing the vulnerability that kids have in especially areas like that they don't get those things on a regular basis, and they're actually areas like that, they're always quite disregarded or swept under the rug when there's issues there. So whilst working there and giving these kids this freedom of like movement, and kind of like also not having to go to class, which they loved. So they got to dance around for an hour a day whilst we went to all these different schools around Alice Springs and stuff. It was seeing the appreciation they had for it. Like, I grew up not appreciating a lot of things, and that's not because I had a lot of things, very, very far from it. It's just that I wasn't that kid that if someone was out to help a community do better. And I was a kid, and so I didn't appreciate that because I was like, well, you say we have a problem.
Yeah.
But these kids were just like in love with it. Some of them found their love of dance through these sessions that we did. And so
Yeah.
I guess what that did for me, getting older, I was I still remember those moments, seeing those kids come in to the class and like just so ready to go. And so like I see them and what they appreciate. So like it's taught me to appreciate more of the little things that I now receive in life and things. Yeah, like it's the appreciation of things which kids have no filter.
Yeah.
Like as you get older, you can kind of appreciate something, but whilst appreciating it, you can be like, oh, yeah, thank you. Like you can keep that straight face, but kids are just like, yeah.
They just they're honest.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know.
And it's really good to see and feel and to actually see, like one of the young Aboriginal boys that I taught, he spoke at what's that big meeting? It's like the United Nations.
Oh wow, the UN. That's awesome.
You look it up online. It's so crazy, and like they've done a series about him as well. And it's like it's all this kid who I knew was getting harassed all the time. He'd go into a shop and things like that. And as you know, speaking at the UN, like it's absolutely crazy for a little kid out in Alice Springs. And what I've got from is the appreciation of the little things.
It's awesome, man. And what you said, like growing up, you said you didn't appreciate a lot of things. Do you mean in that way, it's almost more in hindsight, like, oh, I could have appreciated more things rather than at the time, maybe you thought you were taking it all in, but teaching these kids, you realize, wow, they're really grab things by both hands and just go for it, you know?
Like I knew when to appreciate things and whatnot, but I think I was just in this mindset of like, I wasn't the greatest kid growing up. So I was like in this mindset of like, I'm too cool for this, or I don't need a handout kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we didn't grow up financially well at all, but when I was doing things to, get money and things, we were doing it ourselves as us kids.
Yeah, wow.
So like in our mindset, we didn't need someone's handout, so we didn't appreciate what they were trying to do for us because we had our own avenues of doing things.
Most people know you from Summer Bay, but you actually have a diploma in professional dance performance and also make music under the name Blacks. What's your relationship to dance, music, and acting now? Is there like a method to your madness? Do you know, how do you juggle them or decide which project to take on being as talented as you are and skilled as you are?
Yeah.
I suppose I learnt the method when I was trying to pursue something in those different career paths. When I was studying dance, I put all my time and effort and all my eggs into that basket. And like, because at the time that was my future, that's where I was going to be. But then music was always like a side hustle. Like it's where I got to be vulnerable, I got to be real and write about who I am and what I'd experienced. So that was always just like a somewhat of a release to help me mentally be okay. Dance, I found more of like the physical side was what made me feel better. And then when it comes to acting, that's my career now. I suppose I was always happy with whatever direction it took me, whether I was going to be, like say, become a famous musician or a famous dancer or a famous actor. And I wasn't afraid of which path it was. So now that I have somewhat of a great career in acting now, that's where my focus is. So like all three of them I equally enjoy and love, but it's the one that's helping me the most at the moment is where I put all my eggs, and that's my method of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I'm doing out of those three.
I respect that because a lot of people or some people could say, it's just like, it's quite diplomatic how they answer that. But I like that you're just practical in saying, essentially, like the doors that are open right now, that's where I'm focused.
Well, and that's because those doors are open because they're meant to open for me at that particular time. I'm not going to go force open the door and then, it not work out for me.
Right.
I mean, that's all part of the chase and the thrill of it. But like, I'm very much like I am where I am supposed to be right now. And so that was the door to acting that opened. And so I appreciate where I am and what I'm doing with my career.
So you play Marley Hudson on Home and Away, and you're the first indigenous main character.
Yeah.
Series regular. How does that make you feel, or what does that mean to you?
It's so surreal. Like, I remember the day that I'd found out that I had this role. One of the first things that came to my mind was growing up, the underrepresentation of like indigenous people on mainstream TV. Now, the only time I'd ever see him on TV was like for ads like quit smoking or drinking problems and like domestic violence stuff.
Right.
And so we were always stigmatized and stereotyped as those were our issues. And like that was the only time they'd shed light on us as indigenous people, which was really, really frustrating. And so I never had someone of my ethnicity, I guess, doing things for me to have watched growing up. So now, being the first main role indigenous actor, I know that there are other young indigenous actors out there that know it's possible now.
It's awesome.
And Home and Away, great. Like, they've really taken the bull by the horns, and they're doing the best they can with what they've been given in terms of this opportunity. And you know, like, hats off to them. They're doing amazing work. And what I really loved was I didn't get bored on the show as an Aboriginal character. I didn't come in doing something cultural, or, you know, I didn't come in being stereotyped as an Aboriginal person. I just came on the show as a friend of a bloke on the show.
Yeah.
And got given an opportunity to take over the board shop, and then started like in Summer Bay. And then as time went by and has gone by, we've had opportunities to represent the Australian Aboriginal culture in the show. And like, they're not big moments or anything, but they're just like, they're beautiful little moments that people can hear and see, and I hope appreciate as well.
Yeah.
So it still wigs me out.
That's awesome. Feel so proud. That's awesome.
I am. I still wake up every day, and like on my way to work, I'm like, I'm going to work at Home and Away. Like,
yeah,
it's just a start. Like, and so yeah, it's a different feeling. Like, it's so hard to explain. Yeah, the pride is like, I'm stoked.
So good. Which actor would play you in a movie about your life?
Will Smith.
I totally see it. Like, especially me play you. You reckon I can do it? Just like pull the hair forward a bit.
Yeah. Relax the curls a bit.
Use my finger when I sing.
And
just a bit bigger.
Yeah.
This guy. Just a bit more jacked.
I guess it's kind of hard to answer, because I feel like if there ever was a movie to be made about me, like, one, obviously I'd love it to go to a young Indigenous kid.
Yeah.
To kickstart his career.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard to answer, because there's still not that many that I know of that are pushing and pursuing for a career in it, because they don't get recognition for things.
Right.
There's been a couple of shows come out like that have these young Indigenous actors that are absolutely amazing, but same thing, it's like the show's been put out and there's nothing about them or who they are or what they're doing afterwards, because I just feel like a lot of times the industry doesn't shed light on these kids. Like, yeah, they don't give them the opportunity that they deserve. And, you know, I have my own thoughts and theories on why that is.
Okay.
Because I see a lot of young non-Indigenous actors come through, and if they do a good job at what they do, they get idolized, and people love them for what they've done. But then when it's a young Aboriginal kid that does the same job, if not better, they're disregarded.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, any young Indigenous kids out there that want to play me in a film one day, let me know.
That's actually probably the best answer we've had for that question. I like that a lot. So what are 3 similarities and 3 differences between you and Marley?
So 3 similarities.
Yeah.
Like, definitely he's all about family. Like, that is his first and foremost. He would drop everything and anything to help or be with his family. And I feel that very strongly as well, being one of the older brothers of 5 of us kids. that's also an opposite that comes into it as well. That me being one of the eldest in the family, Marley is the youngest in the family. So going from being the older brother to the baby brother is like, it's kind of weird and such a different thing to comprehend, especially when I'm acting with the like two that come in every now and then and play my older brother and older sister. I'm like, this is so weird.
That would be
like
weird.
I'm having to answer to a sibling because I have to respect them and answer their question. Whereas like being the older one, it's like I'm the one that's like,
in real life, I don't do that.
so there's those two that kind of coincide with each other, a similarity and an exact opposite. But then obviously his love and respect for his culture. Like if it's not family, it's my culture.
Yeah.
And then another similarity would be, well, he's a surfer and I surf as well. So, and then another opposite, so two more opposites would be, he's a pushover. He can very much be a pushover at times in the show. Where
You reckon?
it's like, yeah. So, like, sometimes I read lines and I'm like,
I would not do that.
no, I'd like put my foot down and be like, shut up. But in this one, it's like, but I'm just trying to be better. And it's like, shut up, Marley. So I guess there's that. And then one more opposite to him and I would be, I mean, the dude never goes to the gym in the show.
But you don't either, so how's that an opposite? I'm kidding.
No, like I find that my physical, like being physical and things like that, going to the gym and trying to keep fit and healthy is one of my main things. And and he's just
not.
never in the gym. It's like, dude, one of your best mates in the show, being Conrad, runs the gym.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you
Get
go
a
to the
freebie.
gym? I know, right?
Get a freebie.
I feel like you should ask the writers to sneak that in, because that would make sense, right?
Yeah, like you don't look this jacked.
Seriously. He's only wearing this because he doesn't want to distract you, so that's why he's wearing a jacket.
But no, I think the not being so focused on his health and fitness is something that's very opposite to my lifestyle as well.
So tell us about Know Your Worth. How did that track come about? How did that collaboration happen? What inspired the song?
I'd just come out of like a not so good relationship at the time. And I was made to feel less worthy than what I was.
Yeah.
Like I anything I did was always a problem. I was like, she wouldn't trust me and like all these things. And it's not because I was doing things to give her any reason to feel that way. It's because she came from a relationship that was like that before me. And so she found it weird that I was not wanting to fight and argue all the time. And if we did have a slight argument, I'd like to try and see both sides and try and eliminate that as quick as possible rather than dwell on it. And I guess like feeling as if I wasn't worth it because I was putting in effort, but it was all going unseen. And like, so I wasn't respected in those terms. And so when we broke up, like, she broke up with me because, I actually found out, she told me that she went and got back with her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, you know what, like music's always helped me. So Know Your Worth is literally about knowing who you are in that relationship and knowing that you are worth something even when that person is trying to make you feel as if you're not.
That's awesome. Actually, even though the message is poignant and meaningful and sad and aspirational, I love the hook. It's so catchy. Like the melody of that chorus.
Yeah. So my mate Wayne, he's a amazing singer.
It's so cool.
Yeah, so he really brought that to life, that's for sure.
And that's a collaboration as well. How did you hook up with those cats? Like, how do you know each other?
Well, they were both actually friends of mine at the time. One of them was my housemate, and he was a beat maker. So he was amazing.
Patrick, thank you so much.
Oh, nice.
Let's go.
We got that chicken, baby.
Oh.
Yeah, having those two people close to me at the time where it was like everything happened for a reason.
What life challenge are you most proud of conquering?
Growing up, I wasn't the best kid. I was making some dumb decisions. I was doing dumb things, and like if you would have looked at me back then, it was like, you're just gonna go to jail. That's it. Like that.
Really?
That is your outcome.
Wow.
Like, so Yeah, I was doing dumb things, but I think when I was given this opportunity, I was literally told, I had the police at my house saying that I was supposed to go get locked up that day. I was about 17 at the time. They were up north, like around Tweed Heads. If you're Aboriginal, they usually have indigenous officer come to your house at the time as well, to make sure that everything is done by the book and like then respect and like the families are respected and things. He then mentioned that his cousin Tom Kelly, who I went to high school with, he was a couple of years older than me, was studying at Naysden. I'd just been accepted into the college, and he said that if it wasn't for that, me being accepted and given a 4-year opportunity of studying dance, they were literally going to take me that day. So they kind of,
Wow.
I just went, okay, you've got a chance. Now you go stuff this up. We're coming straight for you, and that's it for you. No more chances. Like, I'd done my 3 and out, you know? So I think, yeah, getting out of that mindset of the world hates me growing up was like, I think that was one of the biggest challenges I've ever had. And like, I'm stoked to be past that point now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's like very personal as well. So thank you for.
Yeah, well, I think I'm happy, I'm proud about it, because like I said, like where my whole name came from, like blacks and things like that, like I know there's a lot of indigenous and non-indigenous, and like these kids that feel as if they can relate to me, my personal stuff ups or problems that I had growing up. So I'm always very open about that stuff, because I want to tell my story so that they understand that I wasn't given everything growing up.
Yeah.
And that in order to get to where you want to be, you got to be consistent and you got to want it. Otherwise, you're not going to change.
So to finish things off, I'm going to hit you with some fast trivia. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Question number 1. Which theatre was founded in 1989 and received the Halpin Award for Best Ballet or Dance Work 6 times?
Sydney Dance Company?
Bangarra Dance Theatre.
Come on, bro. I know.
Question number 2. 12 feet tall and 30 feet wide, the Big Oyster is located in which city?
Hometown baby, Tari.
Yeah, correct. In the Marvel universe, when a mutant has nearly limitless power, they're classified as in what mutant? Fill in the blank.
As a Kyle mutant.
Ka-ching. Omega level mutant. Question number 4. Which artist, storyteller, and didgeridoo player collaborated with Philip Glass, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant?
Is it Chapter? It's right there, but I can't. I'm gonna be wrong. I feel. Chapter.
Mark Eckers.
Yeah.
Final answer. Which actor once famously said, "What the hell, man?" during a red carpet interview?
What the helmet?
Thanks so much for coming to the show. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having me.
If you love this episode of Banter with BC, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.